Okay, we're on. Hello, welcome back. Another episode of Stoneywood Dyce podcast, episode 5. We're absolutely flying through these. Hope everyone's staying well and staying safe at home. We're into week 9 or 10 of lockdown, so we're getting nice and deep into it now. Hopefully, the end is near and some cricket can be played soon. So this is the first of 3 Coetzers in a row. So we thought we'd start with the oldest first. The best, maybe
not the best. Not the best.
Pete,
The
that's
fourth
Pete.
best.
That's Pete.
Eh?
Harsher than Megan, that Shaun.
Actually, Mum would probably be better than me. Yeah.
Sorry, today I'm joined by 2 people who I've played cricket with quite a lot over the last 5 years, and 2 ex-Stoneywood Dyce captains, Shaun Coetzer and Jack Mitchell. So, how are we doing, guys? How have we been keeping busy in lockdown?
Yeah,
you
good.
go first, Shaun?
Busy. Yeah, I'll go first.
2
So,
kids, Shaun, you must be tied up.
Pardon?
You must be pretty busy with 2 kids.
Yeah. Every time there's some sort of apparent slowdown in the oil industry, I get really busy. So, yeah, working a lot. As you can see, growing my hair because I'm the last Coetzer that's got any. And, just trying to get through each day as it happens at the moment. Missing my days out, my breakfast out with either the guys in the summertime or the kids, getting out with them for a breakfast on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Jack, a lot of running I've seen.
Yeah, it's been good. I know as much as I'm missing cricket, it's different for me, but being able to concentrate on my fitness and hit the road and a lot of running, a lot of cycling, it's actually been quite enjoyable. So as much as I'm missing cricket, it's good in a way, but obviously I want to get back and play.
Aberdeenshire. Mike Lowe's been all over Strava as well. He's been loving it.
Yeah, I know. You see Mikey's walks every morning.
Yeah, he likes a walk.
Busy man.
Walk with Stuart Lister. I don't know how that's going down. It certainly wouldn't be.
I feel bad for the 2 dogs that he's taking them every walk. They must be knackered.
Anyway, so today we'll just have a focus on a bit a normal Q&A with a bit of an emphasis on moving on in cricket. Because obviously these guys have 2 similar stories where started at the hometown club and then moved on, a successful period moving on, and then come back to the roots obviously at different points in their careers. So I'm also focused obviously on the Stoneywood Dyce last 5 years where these 2 have been pivotal in the success in the last 5 years. So start things off, Shaun. How did you get into cricket? I mean, it's hard not to, is it? With 2 brothers and dad into cricket.
Yeah, very, very sporting family. Grew up playing cricket. Grew up watching my dad play cricket for Dyce. And then we we lived out in the country, so. My brothers and I, we grew up playing junior cricket for Inverurie Cricket Club, so they put a lot of time and effort into us, and and then Stoneywood and Dyce merged, and I remember my first ever game for the Stoneywood first team. I can't remember, I was 11, 12 or 13, something like that, playing against Colts up at Stoneywood, 4 not out. Pool shot
actually remember that far back.
That's my only memory of cricket. So, and then just with the family, we all loved cricket, played cricket in the garden. That's it really.
So Jack, what about you then? Huntly, early age, or did you get into it a bit later on?
Pretty different, to be honest. None of my family actually played cricket when I started. My dad played in the pub leagues, obviously, and been the social kind of side of it, but I think it must have been 10, 11 before I actually started playing cricket. And at that point, it was when it was Huntly Highlanders. And just from there on, progressed through the age groups and second team into the third team, playing grades, playing Nosca, then finally got my chance in the Huntly first team.
Coveted chance in the Huntly first team.
Young age.
So who was it? Was it Neil Nichol then who got everyone into cricket still, or was it someone else?
Not at that stage. It was Fred Ritchie. Back when he was the Highlanders main man. he used to coach. Neil was always a coach. He always volunteered, helped out with the younger ones. I think could have been 3 or 4 years after that before Neil became a full-time coach and pushed all the juniors through, and still is doing a great job at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, Shaun, you progressed quite quickly. Obviously, when all the three Coetzers were in the team, I was looking back scorecards, and between like 2000 and 2002, 1, 2, and 3 is Coetzer, and then there's a P Coetzer down at 6 or something. So the team must have been pretty easy to pick. What are your memories of that then? And playing with obviously your two brothers and your dad, because there was a period where you all literally did play the top 5.
Yeah, it was good. To be honest, I don't remember too many. Right, there's a few games I remember with us all playing, but I always remember my dad would be in gully or slipping. Anything that came near him, he would grab it, no problem. He was always calm and pretty cool. I remember him batting against Clydesdale one year, and they had Azhar Ali, who was we bowled quite briskly, and he went out to bat with no helmet. And I think Lamy may have spoke about this story last week or the week before. And he went on to score 60 odd, opening a batting with Stuart, because it was him and I that opened the batting. The first time we actually ever opened a batting was against Uddingston in a cup game, I think. And we went on and we may have scored, we may have had 150 opening stand. But remember the first 10 overs, the score was about 12 or something. I had 3 Chinese cut through my legs off Paul Hoffman, and then all of a sudden we managed to start hitting the ball out the middle, and went on to score definitely over 100 partnership, may have been 150. And then one game I remember batting with Kyle at fourths. It rained, it was late, it was dark. They got runs on the board, and we. I remember batting with him, and we both got a few runs that day. I think Kyle won the game eventually, but we're batting. It's green, it's seaming around, and here's me try to flick a ball to the leg side, missing it. Going, what's happened there? To Kyle at the other end, he's laughing at me. Next over, he's playing and missing, doing the same thing. We're laughing at each other. We're missing 5 out of 6 in the over, and then we hit the 6th one for 4. So we're just laughing at each other that day. But fortunately or unfortunately, Kyle left to go on to bigger and better things cricket-wise, right? Yeah. But it was brilliant. Always enjoyed. And whenever I played cricket with Kyle at Cape Town Cricket Club or wherever it was, always loved playing cricket with Stuart and Kyle. Yeah, and Dad. Dad's brilliant as well, right? So.
Yeah. So then, Jack, did you get into, was it Cali progression and then into the first team where you become the real main man at Huntly, or what was the progression really?
There was the youth Cali stuff was a big part then. It was around about the same time when we got selected for the your festivals. You would go down south and you'd play against all regions. It was pretty much the same time when you played first team cricket, and then Huntly were always big on youth progression, so they were keen for youngsters to come through and play as much cricket as possible. So, which is, it is a good thing, and still has to be key at the moment.
Yeah. So what was the where was the point then where Huntly kind of started to dwindle down? Because obviously the Huntly Stoneywood Dyce chain, almost as it's been called. Well, how did that start? And was that maybe one of the reasons everyone leaving to go to Shire or Stoneywood? Was that maybe one of the reasons why it faltered?
I think it had a big impact on it. Huntly's been producing really good cricketers for years. The amount of guys you could that played for Stoneywood and Shire have all come from Huntly. That there's a massive list. You could talk about them all day, but
you'd have enough at 11.
Yeah,
you would make that 11, Jack. I don't think you. I think I'd struggle. 11. I don't think you'd be in there.
I'll take Waterboy. It's fine. No, but it's. I think it did have a big part. Seeing a lot of the guys go on and try and better themselves. It was never. When I was captain, obviously Jamie left Huntly to go to Dyce during that time, and I never held it against him for it. It was always happy for the guys to go and progress their cricket.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they just went through a bad period of time where they had a certain age group of guys retiring. So it was a very inexperienced team. Even committee members were getting at an age where they were rather spend time with their families. And there was a lot on the younger guys' shoulders. Little things like organising matches and teas and bars were all left to
young guys
my age, in 18, 19. It's quite a big responsibility. So I think for me that was at that stage where I decided to try and move on. And
how did it come about then? Who was it? Did someone send you a message, or did you approach? What?
That's a touchy subject.
Is it?
Nah, Rufus. When he left the year before I did, and obviously we were good friends at Huntly. We'd go on with each other at Huntly. We had a lot to do with the committee side of it as well. So he sent me a message saying that why not come along? It's a family club. It's very welcoming. Play a higher standard of cricket, and get to play the likes of Shaun and Jan and all those guys that have played high cricket for years. I think the first time I played was the Sixes tournament.
I do remember that.
We had an absolute ringer of a team.
Rufus's company. No, I do remember that. That would have been 2014, then, would it?
Yeah, I think me, you, Henk,
Tarek, Rufus.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I do remember that actually. So is that what made you go forward? You thought,
Yeah, well, that was the reason I came along, had a look, and he said, have a look see what the kind of club it is, and it definitely helped.
So quite similar then, Shaun. If we rewind the clock back a long time ago,
a long time, just a couple of years.
You like to call yourself the veteran, so we've got to go back a bit. So 2003 and 4, you had actually really good years at Stoneywood. So what was it that made you move across the city? Was it to play higher level?
Part of it was a similar thing to Jack, where looking back at it now, I should have probably asked for help, but trying to organise everything as the captain at Stoneywood when I was inexperienced with the captaincy and with my people skills weren't the greatest at the time, right? So and then on top of that, in 2004, I was back and forward from Edinburgh because I was working down there at the time. So that took a bit of a toll. And then the final reason was I wanted to play cricket with Jan at Shire, and also a guy called Graham Grace, who was the pro at the time. He was a good player, great coach, and I thought that would, playing at Aberdeenshire, which were I think they were the league above at the time.
Yeah, they were
playing there would have put me up in the spotlight for maybe going a little bit further.
Because in that time you were playing for Scotland A, weren't you? You had a game for Scotland A or a few?
It was like it was I was part of the National Academy in 2004, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a President's 11 played against Guernsey, so I got into that side, and I played there was some district stuff around then as well. In fact, no, I think the district stuff was the year after. I had such a terrible year at my first year at Aberdeenshire, apart from the last game of the season. And I think the day before I played some of the district stuff, I got a first bowler, right? So went out there, opened the bat, and nervous, and managed to score a couple of runs. So it wasn't that bad. Took a slipper as well, so a good one.
You got the answer, Dad, did you?
That was it. Yeah. Hey, that's one thing. Yeah, it's one thing I'm confident of all the time. I'll catch it. If it comes near me, I'll catch it.
I don't think I've seen you drop a catch, Shaun.
Oh, I had 2 bad years. I remember 2 bad seasons. One at Aberdeenshire where I dropped dollies. Honestly, these things it's like when you throw it from cover to mid-off. Dropped one like that. And then in South Africa, my year 2005, I couldn't even get a hand on the ball.
So yeah,
I'll top that, Shaun. Though the Carlton game must have been the last game of the season, 2016
when we got relegated.
Is that when
It's the only time I've seen you drop 2 catches and like
yeah,
a row.
right. No, you're right.
Oh, slip off Jamie King.
Yeah.
Jamie King was raging, yeah.
And then I can't remember who was batting, but he went and scored big runs after that.
No, he got 80 odd, didn't he?
They scored like 400s.
But we should have kept him in. We should never have got him out because he was batting slower than the other guys that came in.
So talking about pros there, Shaun, you said Jan and Grace. I've never heard of the Grace boy, but Jack, what was it like playing with Azhar Ali? Were you around at Azhar Ali time, or?
I was mainly second team when Azhar was here. I did get the odd T20 with him, and I think batted maybe twice with him in his time at Huntly. But even at that age, you see a pro coming in, your eyes are wide open regardless of who it is. But then to see him go on and do what he's done,
but his story's pretty immense, isn't it? He was a leggy, wasn't he? Came over as a leggy.
Yeah. He came over to. He was a replacement pro as well. Huntly had a pro lined up, and I'm not actually sure of the story, but I think he got injured or something before he was due to fly over. And last minute, one of the guys that organised it overseas would phone up this agency. Look, we're in a struggle here. Can we get any replacements over last minute? Tell you what, I've got this leg spinner. He's a really good leg spinner. Can bat. We'll give you details, and the rest is history. Over as a leg spinner, it goes back as a number 3 test.
It's not the other way around, isn't it? You come over as I'm a batsman. I remember Matt Brown and all that, thinking they're coming over as these batsmen, and they go away taking like 25 wickets.
Exactly.
And then he got a call up, didn't he, when he was playing for Huntly or something? Someone's told me this.
Yeah, he came over. I think it was like the 4th or 5th game of the season. I was playing against Strathmore in a league game, and he actually gave his phone to the umpire because he knew he was going to get a call either way if he was selected. So he was out batting. I think he didn't actually score that many. I think it was 60 something, and his phone went off halfway through. Like, oh yeah, you've been selected for the national training camp for the test squad. You fly out in 2 weeks or something.
That's
in the middle of batting. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. So we're talking about the time at Shire then, Shaun. Then going back to that, you were part of the first year over. You were part of the Scottish Cup final. Talk us through that then. What was that? How was that? Were you involved in the run at all?
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Unfortunately, we got quite soundly beaten in the final. Fergusley, I think it was. We didn't score enough runs that day, but we had a good run. We had a handy team for a few years there at Aberdeenshire, right? So, and they were all sort of around my age, which was good. So, I mean, that was, we all knew each other from junior cricket and that. So, that was good. But I don't remember too many of the lead up to the final. But I remember we stayed overnight and we played the final at West Lothian. Lovely day. Remember fielding on the boundary. Fergusley supporters giving me a lot of stick, so gave them a little bit back, and then they're having a laugh with me and saying, "Look, there's a pint of beer, go have a drink and everything." So tempted. By that stage, we'd lost. Tempted.
That's something we need to talk about, actually, Shaun. The hothead days. A lot of people have mentioned this in the podcast before. What was it? Was it just angry? Were you just angry? Just when you got out, just an angry man.
Don't know. Don't know, right? Just
you've mellowed now, at least.
A little bit.
No, I think if you was any more laid back, John, you'd be lying down.
No, I think looking back at it, I always put a lot of pressure on myself to do really well, and it was always, more often than not, I would disappoint myself when I played, and then I kind of tended to take that out on other people instead of finding another way, another avenue of releasing that sort of frustration and disappointment.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's good. So we'll go on to the Stoneywood stuff. In fact, we're talking about Aberdeenshire. Probably talked about it for longer than I was actually part of the club. So, we'll move on. So Stoneywood Dyce then. So obviously 2015 is when you both joined. I'm pretty sure it was 2015, Shaun, or were you here for a year?
2014. I was in with Leesky.
Came back with Leesky 2014, and then so I suppose we'll just do a bit of a review with it. So 2015, you made captain, Shaun. How did that come about? We lost.
Oh, it was by default. It was by default. There was no one else, right?
We lost three pretty big names that year, so you knew it was going to be tough.
Yeah, right. We had a young, inexperienced team for National League cricket. Likes of yourself, Jack, you just come across from Huntly. You had exposure to Strathmore Union, and but the National League's a little bit more intense. You're playing against a couple of better players in each team overall, really, at least. Mm-hmm. So we got Josh, my mate Josh Fiddler, over as an overseas player, and then we had Henky as well.
Last year of the Conradis.
Yeah, both very, very good players. And we
saw the best of Josh Fiddler in that year.
Josh,
good player.
Yeah. He was good for the rest of the boys, though. I think. And looking back at the stats, I didn't realise we'd won 4 games that year and drew 1. I thought we'd only won 2 and drawn 1.
Beat Kirstorfen twice, tied with Manfield. I played that Manfield one. And
we beat
Watsonians, which we'll get on to, because you both scored runs there. What was it like then, Jack, coming into that team? Obviously, we lost Leesky, we lost Elton, we lost Ali Gill. What was it like coming into that team?
Obviously, I'd played against the likes of Leesky and that before. Fought Huntly against Stoneywood. So, it was obviously I didn't know as much. It was as big a miss for me, but as Shaun said, it's a massive step coming from Strathmore into National League, and it is a lot tougher. It is a lot. You're playing against that better players, but I think, Shaun says we've won 4 games and still get relegated, and you'd think.
Nowadays. 2016 we got relegated.
Oh, it was 2016. Yeah, sorry.
We didn't win a game there, Jack.
Well, we won 1 game that season.
No, we didn't.
No, that was
we did.
We didn't win any games in 2016. I dropped the game.
You need to look at the stats. We won 1 game. It's probably the
cup game.
I dropped the
surprised
and started crying, Shaun, remember? Yeah, so Jack, you actually started really well in 20. You came off 50 against Gordos in the friendly.
Yeah, friendly.
50 against Kirstorfen to see us home. 70 a few weeks in against Watsonian. So you really hit the ground running. And then
it was all downhill from there.
I wasn't going to put it that way, but I think if you're being honest with yourself, Jack, in Eastern Premier League cricket, you probably didn't do yourself justice in your time at Stoneywood Dyce. Would that be a fair
probably
comment?
not. No, I would definitely agree. As you said, started off very well. It was my 50th debut, and that's how I like to push on from there on. But it's tough. Being that person coming in from another club. It's tough to come in and score runs, and not everybody's relying on you, but it's the guy from Huntly, you better score runs.
Well, that year we'd lost the 3 names in that first season, and we had a young team, so there's a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves to do well. So it's always going to be hard when we don't have that experience, and we go through we started the season okay, and then you go through a run where where the whole team's struggling, and then it just builds up, right? And I think that tail end of that year started the next season, 2016. We just couldn't get out of it. I remember there was a few of the teams that we played against actually said that all round as a team, we've got better players than a couple of other teams in the league. Mm-hmm. But just that inexperience of getting to situations where we need to do that 1% better, trying to get that psychological step over was we just have the experience to do it.
2016 season, there was a few games definitely where I thought we left a few games out there. Also, Watsonians, where Jack, you scored a 50, Shaun, you got a 60, I think. I remember looking. We scored 250, a decent score, especially at Stoneywood, and they scored the runs in 30 overs. So, I mean, I think that pretty much summed up our season for me. The other one was down at Watsonians, chasing 120. We're all out for 60. Kiddo and Kinger talked about it, where Kiddo run past one, and I'll never forget that day.
I didn't remember that.
Did you not? I remembered it clear as day, because I was batting like 20 for 7. And then Kinger was in. I'll remember clear as day. He ran past the first ball.
Did I get upset about it?
I can't remember Shaun. The only time I've ever seen you upset was when you hit. Remember, we're chasing 160 against Grange. You absolutely whacked Gowdy for 3 or 4 fours, and then you pulled one onto your thigh pad and got given LBW. That's the only time I've ever seen you get angry, Shaun.
Cost us a game.
I've been amazed hearing Mike Lowe and David Lamb talk about how much of a hothead you were. Anyway, we'll move on to happier times, because 2015-16, although Shaun, you performed well in 2016. You scored 400 runs at 30, which in a losing team is really not a bad effort, and we had fun, didn't we? We had fun. I remember.
Well, that was it.
I mean,
I think the expectation was we knew it was going to be tough for that year.
Yeah.
And the way I tried to do it was I tried to not put any pressure on anyone else in the team. Which ultimately there wasn't really any pressure on me either. We were so inexperienced, and I tried to give people roles that they would perform for the whole year, so that they would learn and improve.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I remember from my first time as captain at Stoneywood compared to the second time was the difference in the teams. I had a lot of older players, well, I say older players, more senior, more experienced players in my first time as captain at Stoneywood. So I could come up with these wacky ideas of how to get people out, and invariably they'd work, because the people I would go to would be able to perform consistently and do the things. But whereas our team was really young, I mean, Kiddo, Jamie King, they've come on leaps and bounds, right? But at that stage in 2016, they still don't know their game now, but they really didn't know their game back then. So it was all about trying to be consistent. And when we were batting, try to be consistent, try and give people a role. And that's your role. Learn that role, and then we can work from it.
Yeah, I do think often we'll move on to happier times there where we actually won some games of cricket. But I think when you look back, that 15-16 really, those guys you spoke about, myself, Kinger, Kiddo, yourself, Jack as well, we really did move on in cricket. And then 2017, I don't think we had a good team, which is probably as expected going down to a lower division, but we won the league, which was really good. Jack, you scored a lot of runs. Obviously, coming into overseas now, Liam Lindsay scored a lot of runs. Jack's Coster bowled absolute gas. What can you guys remember from that season? Obviously, Jack, it was your first year as captain. So that's, you've only been at a club for 2 years. To get captaincy probably says a lot about your character.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone knows me, knows that I'm the kind of person that likes to lead. Captaincy was always a leader at Huntly, captain through the youth setups, and obviously captain first team at a young age. So I mean, it was always something I was interested in, and something that I always wanted to be involved, as you could say. Obviously, 2017 was the first year in Strathmore. It's trying to get the guys back up into a winning mentality was key, and stripping it back really right back to the bone, and allowing like the Jamie, Kiddo, and yourself, Chat Lamley, to understand their game a bit more, and understand their roles, because some people thought they were opening bowlers, maybe bowled better in middle orders, thought they were opening batsmen, maybe batted better in the middle orders, so give guys a bit of a chance to try different roles, try different spots in the team, and find their game, like Shaun said. But it was, as I said, we stripped it right back. It was the first year, I think Hoodie was club captain as well. So it was a total strip back, and start from the beginning and build it up from the bottom.
Yeah,
good.
And obviously, unfortunately, cumulated, is that a word? Cumulated. I'm not a man for words anyway. But it ended with my least favourite game ever in cricket, where we got bowled out by Majid Hack and maybe a few umpire decisions. 28. So, I mean, I suppose you've got to take the good with the bad. It's good to probably discuss it because I do think it did improve us in it. But what do you remember from that day, Jack?
Oh, it's wiped from the memory. It's gone.
It's not wiped from my memory.
That day doesn't exist. I think mindset had a big part in that game. And I think we're coming off an unbeaten run the whole season.
Mm.
We turned up at Falkland. I think we thought we already won the playoff, and we just weren't mentally ready for it. Physically and skill wise, we were as strong as probably we'd been, but just not mentally ready for it. And in hindsight, in hindsight, probably helped the team develop a lot better and
absolutely
give us another year.
Give everyone another year, and obviously 2018. Then move on to 2018. We didn't actually win the league. We came second. Obviously Falkland didn't what got, so we went into the playoff. But what do you remember from the 2018 season? Because in my memory, we were a much better team. I mean, you look at the 2017 playoff against Kirkstofton. It's not really a great team on paper when you look at it. But yeah, memories of 2018 season. Because Shaun, you played a little bit more in 2018, I think.
Yeah, I think I opened the batting with Mark Lamley a few times in that season, didn't I? We had a pretty good opening partnership. Average, I think.
Someone older and slower than you, Shaun.
That was just so both of you could run between the wicket.
Well, I thought it was to entertain me.
But obviously, Jack had a really good season in 2018. He scored 400 runs at 40. See, I've done my stats this time. 400 runs at 40, and that's obviously we're missing quite a lot of games because of your chocolate shoulder. So you're hitting the ball really well. Any memories from that season? Because you had a few good knocks, I think.
I mean, the whole season in general was good for the team wise. Obviously, I missed almost half the season, I think, with my injury, which wasn't ideal. Standing at the sideline watching the team play is the hardest thing I've had to do in my cricketing career. But in hindsight, in a good way, again, me standing at the side and seeing the other guys step up to the plate. Liam took on the captaincy. And,
that must have been hard work watching that, because some of his decisions. I'm working for a little Hitler.
The dictator.
Yeah, I remember a few games. Oh, Lindsay.
Some bold decisions, but and generally did a good job. We won the games that we needed to win, and as you say, we finished second, but to get to the playoff again, and obviously we got to the playoff with a different mindset this time, and probably helped with a bit more experience in the team. The previous years, I think Jan played a lot more games that year. George played.
Jan started playing again for 18, and I mean that playoff game we absolutely battered Kelso. I don't think anyone bowled badly, and then you and Lindsay. Well, Maka and Lindsay really set it off, and you and Lindsay just didn't look like you were going to get out that day, and really set us going. I suppose in where we left off, we started again. 2019 was probably my favourite season so far. I'm sure it's one of yours as well, but I think for me, what I always thought of 2016, we ended getting absolutely battered at Carlton, and then 2019 we started by beating Carlton. So I think that was a really good thing. We won 2-2, and we got off really well. Obviously, Shaun, you were you came back into the team. You a few years out, where you're having babies, but you're back into the team. So what do you remember of the 2019 season? All I remember is the flick off the pads, corny dry, and Chalet. That's all I remember from 2019 season.
2019 season, actually. I had a poor season that year. It got to the stage where I was actually nervous about going into bat, and that's been many, many years since I was worried about batting. No, I think we had a good season. Unfortunately, I got injured against Watsonians, so I missed the tail end of the season, which I was looking forward to, and hopefully trying to improve my high score of 36 or something. But yeah, the guys did well, right? What an improvement from 2015.
That's it, isn't it? Looking back.
Jamie King came on leaps and bounds. David Kidd, Jack, you did well. Maka, KP, yourself, Yanni coming back in. Georgie Ninan hit a 6.
David Lamb was amazed at that. He spoke about it for ages after. He couldn't believe it.
I've probably missed out some other people, but
no, but we were a really good unit, and you know, Jack, I'm sure you weren't as happy with yourself, the batting wise, but I think everyone knows you were a great leader, and you were part of the whole 5 years, from the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you led us really well. And of course, you played for Cali in 2019. Talk us through that one. You had a few really good knocks.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. Obviously, got selected for the winter training squad in 2018, 2019, and then made my debut against West pretty early on in the season, the 50 over stuff. Scored 50 on debut, which is always good to do. You know, there's no expectations of you coming in on debut. If you score runs, you score runs, which was good. And just being able to bat with, you know, that kind of guys that you have on that team, you know, like Whiskey, Wally, Grievo, you know, it's you learn a lot just standing at the sideline watching them and batting with them. It's a good experience all around. So, yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, it's good. And yeah, not many people score 50 on debut for Cali, so that's good. Obviously playing with Kinger as well, it's good. He, as you say, he's come on leaps and bounds. So yeah, I think it was just good to go through the last 5 years, and because it is really an up and down story, and it starts pretty low and then it gets pretty high. And just a shame, obviously, this year, we spoke about it in the previous ones, that we couldn't go on this year when Jack Lamley, Stuart Lister, Ross Gennard could really show themselves. But anyway, right, so we'll get on to some general Stoneywood Dyce stories and then memories from you guys, because obviously, Shaun, you've done a few notes, I think, have you? Bit of preparation.
There's a few.
Reel back the memories. So we'll start with both of your favourite performances. I was going to say knocks, and then I remembered that you were a bowler back in the day, Shaun, so I thought I'd let you have a bowler figures as well.
I never prepared that one.
Jack, what's your favourite ever knock for Stoneywood?
Favourite or not? I mean, my best performance was my 2 for 14 against Arbroath in the T20. It's a tough one. The favourite one probably the 77 not out against Shire, batting with Lindsay at the other end.
Lindsay got a 100.
Yeah, I think being able to bat together with him, both of us were striking the ball well, and it was just like they couldn't get us out. Anything we hit went to the boundary. It was, you know, one of those days where everything just clicked, and you know, watching Liam hit a ton at the other end was pretty enjoyable as well. But probably my most memorable one anyway at Dyce.
Yeah, Shaun.
Sure.
In case you doesn't pick this one, I was delving through the archives. Shaun's high score for Stoneywood came in 2003, away to Pollock. We've been hit for 300, and you batted with Sangram Singh, put on 200, and I think he ran you out on 96. Is that the highlight, or?
No, actually, that's probably a low light. All right, getting that close. Getting that close, and then unfortunately, fell out with our pro at the time, right? Hothead. But actually, interesting. Before that, I bought a new bat the week before, and decided that day I'm going to use it today. I hadn't knocked it in or anything, so Stuart and I are opening the batting, and batted a few overs, and I'm trying to hit the ball off the square. It's like trickling off the bat, plinking off the bat. And Stuart says to me, Shaun, I think you should change your bat. So this is what, 5-6 overs in? I think you should change your bat. And I said, yeah, I'll change it after this over. So that over I hit a 4, and I thought, well, I'll just hang on to it a bit longer. So I ended up scoring 96 with that bat after Stuart was telling me I should change it. So, but I don't know, maybe the first time I opened the batting with Stuart, I think it's I can't. I don't remember too many of my stats. Oh, here's one actually. This one I do remember. The playoff game for Stoneywood to get into the national leagues. It was the conferences at the time. We played against Cooper at Strathmore, and I was in the team, but we had people like Andy B and a lot of really good cricketers at that time. And Andy B ran up to bowl the first ball of our innings and went over his ankle, twisted his ankle, had to go to hospital. So that meant I would have to bowl because I was the extra player really in the team. And I took 5 for something and won man of the match and got a crate of Nuki Brown, but I was too young to drink it.
But you still drank it anyway.
No, actually I didn't. I was good in those days. I didn't drink. Yeah, still don't. Oh, well, I don't drink now. Still don't drink.
So that was that the 97 season where you won the division and then went into the
96, 97, yeah, somewhere around then, yeah.
That was a proper team, was it? Grant Dugmore, David Lamb, Rob Lamb.
Was Steve Knox in it at the time?
Knox maybe as well, yeah, they spoke with that as well.
Yeah, Andy B. We had Leo McCarthy keeping wicket. The old man was in and around that team as well when he was back up from work. Yeah, really, really good team. I was the spare part in that team.
So then, I suppose, favourite games over the years, Jack? Nail biters.
I mean, the best winning one's definitely the playoff at Frookie against Kelso.
Yeah.
Seeing everything, all the hard work over the last 2 years come together on that one day, and everything just clicked. As I said, I don't think we dropped anything. I don't think we bowled a wrong ball.
David Kidd tried his best to drop the pro.
I think I dropped a catch as well. I think my one and only slip catch I ever dropped. But yeah, that game was special for me. Just being able to see everybody's hard work coming off and paying off. But again, the draws at Shire and against Shire were always that was as well.
Yeah,
the draw at Shire. That was my first National League game. I was mental. I'll never forget it. Never forget it when he nicked. He didn't nick it, but
yeah. I remember the ball before that. The ball before that, Mike Lowe dropped it and flipped. Yeah. And I'm sure he said, "Yo, that came quick, eh?"
Came at some pace.
The next one was identical, but Henk and Randy just jumped in front.
Took it in front of Mike.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was about it. They were like 100 for 2.
Yeah.
And then Kinger and yourself brought it back, Shaun.
Right, I didn't have much to do with it. Kinger bowled well.
What's your favourite game then, Shaun?
That was a good one. The colour clothing game. I think that was the first ever Scottish League cricket game in clothing against Arbroath, where we Georgie flicked the ball through his legs. He says he meant it for to win the game. And then the other one was, I think Brian and George mentioned it last week, was the Dundee High School when they chased 325 or something. Brendan Ford, who played for Arbroath, scored 130 or something like that for Dundee High, and then he bowled briskly. He was quick in his day, Brendan. I remember that. He was quick in his day.
So that's mental. I said to him last week, chase him 330. Like, that's mental. But
I remember we lost the game where we scored over 300. We lost at fourths, and unfortunately, last ball of the game, I can't remember if I was bowling at the end or not, but the fourths pro at the time, Peter Drinnan, they needed 2 to win, and he hit it in the air to cover boundary. A youngster in our team at the time, who's a good cricketer, unfortunately dropped it onto his leg, and the ball ran away for a couple of runs. If it dropped right down in front of him, he picked up and threw it in, it would have been a draw. But unfortunately, the way he dropped it, they went and won the game, last ball of the game. I remember that. Yeah. That was memorable.
What about any funny stories over the years? Funny story each. Could be a night out, a game, anything.
You only get one funny story?
Oh, you get as many funny stories as you want.
Whatever
is your fancy? Just start us off, Jack.
Any away way pre-season tours I think you could put on that list. I remember it wasn't a pre-season tour, but the was it the game we beat Christophin away?
Yeah.
Sean Henk hit 100, I think.
Henk hit 100, yeah, I think he did.
And we stayed down in Christophin anyway because we had a Scottish Cup game in the next day at Grange, I think maybe.
At Grange, yeah, it was at Grange.
And I think 5 of us, maybe 5 or 6 of us, ended up out in the middle of Edinburgh, beating up with the Christophin guys, all absolutely smashed, wearing stupid hats, and it was just a really good night. And I think helped by the fact that we won.
Yeah, the next day was tough.
It's not a warm Grange hard deck.
I slept. Was that the one I slept on the table?
Yeah, I think so.
It rained a little bit, wasn't it? Or was that? No, that was.
Yeah, it was a rain delay. The toss was delayed.
You
were lying on the table for about 2 hours getting
Josh
to get you some chalky milk.
Yeah, you did the toss, didn't you? That first.
You did both first at Grange.
Yeah, I might say you bowled first a year later.
Never bowled.
Would have paid off.
There in Carlton, always bat first, and Arbroath always bat first.
Not
Your first one is it, Sean? Get your list out.
There's a
You've
few.
been revising.
There's a few. Oh man, what about Soggy? Jordan Squire at Harriet's, 2 balls in a row got hit in between the thigh pad and the pad. There's a picture of it online, and I just remember laughing at him. And Ollie turns around and says, "Sean, shut up! It's not funny." Then he actually, the one time you opened the batting at Carlton with Mario and Ali Evans.
Oh God!
So you got a couple that day. We put on a few.
Literally at 9.
But I remember you faced. It was a couple overs into it, and you faced a couple of balls from Ali Evans. You went, "Oh, he's quite quick." So I thought, "Well, I'll stay Ali Evans' side, right? No problem." And because I also knew that you would never get a bat near one of Mario's away swings that day. So
it was only when he bowled the innie and it just hit my bat.
Yeah, I told him to bowl it so you could get a run.
I think there's another good picture of that one online as well.
Yeah,
there is. Could be trying to duck a bouncer.
I don't think I've ever been as scared as a 15-year-old. Ali Evans on one end, and then this guy who looked like he was bowling little medium paces at the other end. You're making him look easy, Sean. I come in and I'm swinging all about.
But remember, you're only 15 at the time. So.
And then he bumped me, and I did not know what to do.
Yeah, but you did a job that day. So
got on 50, Sean. You didn't do that much in 2016.
And then next one involves Jack. Well, it involves a few guys. That game at Watsonians where we bowled them up for 120. Green deck. I think we should have bowled them up for less than 120. Then Andy Mackay's coming in and bowling. He actually bowled bowled sharpish that day, right? So unfortunately I got out. Then the next thing I remember is seeing people like yourself, Jack, hopping about when he's trying to bowl your bumpers. And
I'm pretty sure I got caught short leg.
Short leg. Yeah, you got caught short leg. What have you said?
It was like, I get a bat near it, I'm taking it in the ribs.
Yeah.
He was sharp, I remember. Yeah.
I played against him before that. He was a pro at Arbroath, and played against him there. I did okay against him. I got a couple of 40s, a 70 odds, and that day, unfortunately, I didn't get enough that day. It was maybe 5 or something that day I got, but so I think my average is quite good against them.
There was a lot of quick bowlers in 2016 though, especially compared to last year.
And then one, it's not Stoneywood. Well, it is kind of Stoneywood related. The funny story that I've got, I was actually playing cricket with Kyle, so there's the Stoneywood connection, and we were playing down in Cape Town. So we I turned up, played the first 2 weekends in the second team. The first team had a bye, so I played the third weekend in the second team. And the next week, the first team had a 2-day game starting. So we're playing at Grand Pinelands. We turn up, nice, good ground, right? Wicket was a little bit green, and I can't remember. I think we bowled first, and we bowled them out maybe 200. They scored 200. Then we went into bat. So I went out to open with this guy called Neil Ritchie, and Neil scored a lot of runs for Cape Town. Unfortunately, he didn't get too many this first day. But there's a guy called Birch bowling from the other end who played a few games. I think he played a few games for Province. He played some for Boyland as well. And so the first over, I get down to the striker end facing him, and first ball he bowls to me. Foolish, swings away. I went to drive it. Next thing I know, I turn around and look, I've nicked it, and it's gone between second and third slip, and they've just looked at each other. I was like, phew, that's lucky. So batted a little while longer. I didn't face him again after that for a little while. And then Neil got out. Kyle came in at number 3. Mm-hmm. So next thing, this boy's running in a little bit harder and runs in. And all I see is Kyle give it one of these, right? And it hits him on the shoulder. So he's swinging his arm around and walks down the wicket, tapping the wicket. I walked down to him and I said to him, "You can stay that in, Kyle. I'll take the medium pacer." So I tried to whack the medium pacer after that and got 30 and then got out.
That was quite good. I played at Cape Town with your brother.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Stuart played there as well. Gordon Gaddy played there too. So there's a bit of a connection with them. And actually, Shaun Fabes. Remember Shaun Fabes, KP? No, he was, yeah, you would have been just a bit young. Shaun Fabes, when I was playing there in 2005 with Kyle, he was playing at Cape Town Cricket Club. Young guy, South African guy, and he was going travelling. So I played a few games with him, and then he went travelling. And then I came back to Scotland. Next thing I know, there's a knock at the door. Shaun Fabes is there, and lived with me for 2 years after that. Just turned up.
Yeah, because they mentioned him last week. He played for a few years. He's like as a local.
Yeah, he qualified as a local. Yeah.
So Jack, one story, the Braden initiation song. Talk us through that one, because Braden didn't give much away on the funny side of things for stories.
This is the club anthem.
What was this about?
So the first, my first away tour, it was the second away tour. We're down in Glasgow. Played Clydesdale on the Sunday and Weston Saturday, I think. Mm-hmm. So as you do, out having a few beers after the Saturday game, I was a bit boozy. And Braden comes up to me and goes, "Jack, I think we need to get a club anthem, a club song to sing after we win a game." And obviously, it'd been a while.
We never used it.
No, we did, because we beat West of Scotland that day. And he was like, "Oh, we should get a winning song." Okay.
We beat Clydesdale the day after.
Yeah, it was a good pre-season tour.
Yeah. Anyway,
we were absolutely canned, walking down the street, blaring out absolute rubbish. The song didn't even make sense. It had Stoneywood Dyce in it. That's all I can remember. But we're staying at a really nice. It was a hostel, but it was a really nice hostel, like an old style house. And coming up the stairs, shouting it full volume. Club anthems. Like, right, that's it. I've got it. That's a song. That's it for the rest of the season. And yet we didn't get to sing it.
No, that's good. So on the Braden topic, then, who's your favourite overseas you've ever played with?
Jack, you go first.
So favourite. It doesn't have to be the best. Just favourite.
It's tough because they've all been good.
It can be Huntly as well, obviously as well.
It's even harder now. I'll go with Stoneywood. Probably Lindsay. I think obviously having to captain him for 3 years, he did play here. We had a lot to do with each other. He was my vice captain for 2 of the years, and I think I learnt a lot off of him. I'd like to think he learnt a lot off of me, but I got on really well with Liam. Being able to trust him to be my vice captain was good, and just an all-round class player. You could see as soon as he turned up, he was the way he batted, the way he went about his game. He was a really good cricketer and really serious about his cricket. So probably, yeah, Liam.
Shaun?
I've been fortunate enough to play with a lot of brilliant overseas players. I mean, they talked about Arno scoring all those runs. We had Casper as well, who scored runs and took wickets, and he bowled quick. In
Is
the
that
second.
Van der Volt?
Yeah. And then you've got Mario Olivier, who's quick. You got Darren Knuckle, who was a good offie. Probably should have played some provincial cricket, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, never happened. Ian Van Sale, he was talked about as well. Big opening bowler, played for Namibia. David Shaw was our first ever overseas player that we had. I can't remember how old I was when he was around, but he was a good player as well. But I think probably my favourite personal one I got on like a house on fire was with Fiddler. Josh. Yeah, I got on like a house on fire with him. I remember he slept outside my house one night as well.
What was the Manifield game, wasn't it?
That was before the Manifield game, yeah. He was staying somewhere else, and then he decided to leave that place and come home. And I get up at 7 in the morning, and I just see him sitting outside on one of the seats, one of the benches we've got outside the house, just hood up and everything. I'm like this, freezing. Josh, mate, you want to come in?
So, what were favourite teammates then over the years?
Oh, I hated everyone. Yeah, can't pick a favourite. Some brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant. Do you know what? I don't think I actually ever played with. Even at Aberdeenshire and Cape Town, and when I played at Claremont in South Africa as well, I don't think I ever played with anyone that I didn't like. There's people that get on your nerves, and there always will be, but there's no one that. I'll put it another way. Love everyone that I've played cricket with.
Love that, Shaun. Jack?
Yeah, it's a tough one because, I mean, everybody at Dyce since day one, have been welcoming. We say Dyce has always been a family club, and it's stand by it. And I guess, I mean, I grew close to Kiddo Kinger over the last couple of years with Cali stuff, training together and playing together. Maka again, grew quite close to him over the years. As you say, it's everybody. I learnt a lot off of Jan, off of Shaun, off of Nine, and Mr. Lowe. Spent many a car journey back from Huntly with Mikey Lowe, and the amount of cricket discussions and life discussions I had with Mike the way back.
Should have put your headphones in.
That's what Lister does. But now there's no favourites, but
yeah, really close.
The whole club.
Here's an interesting one. One Stoneywood Dyce player or players that you didn't get to play with but wished you had. It's an interesting one, I think. So maybe easier for you, Jack, because you also.
For me, it's 100% Gordon Gowdy.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it means that I wouldn't have to bowl to him. I remember the one game, Shaun, bowling leg spin. But one of many talents.
One-handed.
And I bowl this absolute parlour. It's just pitched outside legs. Oh, that's going to spin. Take top off. It's perfect. And out of nowhere, he's swept this thing with one hand over the clubhouse, into the field. And I'm just like, how? How the hell have you managed that? I thought I had you bowled, but no, it's in the field. Yeah, to play with Gordon Gowdy would be a good experience.
I thought you were going to say it for the Wood End. The Friday night.
That's Gowdy Senior.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's Paddy Maroney. That's who that one is. Paddy Maroney.
He's on next week, Shaun. I cannot wait to meet him.
Yeah. He's love Paddy. Yeah, he was. There's some stories about some socials, and he was involved in some waxing and stuff. So,
what about you, Shaun? One player you wish you'd played at? It's quite hard for you because obviously you played at Shire with Yanni and George. Well, I suppose you played with them now anyway.
Yeah, I was fortunate. So I was fortunate enough that there was guys that moved from Stoneywood to Shire around the same time as me, and then Graham Tomlinson and Ian Brand and Kenny Reid played a few games for Stoneywood as well, actually. And then Yanni and Georgie and people moved back and so on. But I don't know. Maybe some of the overseas boys that I missed out on, people like Paddy Statler, Neil Van Vuren, or
Van Vuren, if you have mentioned him,
yeah, or Rudy. I wish I could have played cricket with Rudy. He was
Who's
over. Rudy, how do you say his surname? Nurvait?
No idea.
He was one of the overseas boys, amateur. I think he actually played second team. I would have loved to play cricket with him. I got on well with him. I had a laugh with him.
Yeah.
In fact, no. Do you know what? It'd be Sean Fabe. I never
Fabe.
played cricket with him while he was at Stoneywood.
Yeah. Okay. And you live with him?
Yeah.
Best player played against?
Jack, you go.
It's a tough one. Yeah, you didn't give me this to prepare for.
Yeah, I know.
I pull a list out of people I played with and against that were yeah. Do you want local or do you want an overseas?
Both. Go for both.
Oh dear.
Shaun, you go first. You've got a list.
Best player I played against. The overseas, there's a few, but you're probably looking at. There was one guy, I think his name was Pettigrew. He was a West Indian guy. I was young. I think I was 16 or something, playing in the Scottish Cup against Greenock. And I just remember running around the boundary, just herring around the boundary, but nothing got hit at me hard. And then all of a sudden, this guy's got 100, a left-handed bat, and I just thought, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Just out of nowhere, he scored 100. I couldn't believe it. He scored 116 or something against us that day. Local player? Oh, it's got probably... there's a lot of talented players, right? But got to be one of the Coetzers, probably.
Yeah, I was expecting you to say one of your Coetzers, but you've taken a while to get there. Is it true?
Which one, Shaun?
But I say, was Stuart always the better one growing up?
We were all different, right? So I'm going to leave my dad out of this because he's
the best.
Yeah, I mean, you should see him bowl with his arm like this. But Stuart was always the best batsman. Kyle was the best bowler when he was growing up, right? Kyle, I think he actually signed for Durham Moor as a bowling all-rounder, but then he got a stress fracture in his back when he was 17. So, and then he had problems after that, I think, if I remember rightly, and then concentrated on his bat, and then he's done all right, isn't he?
Not bad.
and then I was the one in the field, in the outfield especially, running about, catching. Yeah, I could always catch better than Stuart and Kyle. Hands, yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
because I love fielding. Absolutely love fielding it.
So the best player you've played with, you got to pick. You got to pick.
The best I played with. Oh, come on. I can't say Stuart. He'll get a big head. It's got to be Kyle. He's actually played a lot for Scotland.
Yeah. Jack.
That's my dad. It's my dad.
Dad. Yeah. Pete seems like quite the legend. Speaking to people about him.
Class act.
Best player played with, Jack. Doesn't have to be at Stoneywood. You don't have to have the embarrassment of saying me.
Oh, it's a tough one. I think one of the Cali games, Leesky scoring his turn down at Ayr, was playing with them. That game was pretty awesome to watch. Would have liked to play obviously a lot more with them. See, he's obviously a huge talent. Everyone gone a good way. That's a tough one. I think Jan probably Jan Stander for me. Seeing him, do what he does, go about the way he does it. It's just, he comes out with some weird and wonderful things, and it just seems to happen. So probably Jan.
Yeah. That probably leads me on to the last question I've got for you was, what's the best piece of cricket advice or team talk you've been given? And that's the last Stoneywood one, because
well, that's quite hard for Jan, is it?
If you've got the same answer as me for Jan, Jack.
Yeah, it's definitely the playoff against Kelso.
Mm-hmm.
That one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I still think about that sometimes.
You might have to get the wording right for me here, but so we're in the changing room 10 minutes before we're away to start, and Jan's been chilled the whole day, whole warm up, just been chilled, swaggering about the way he does, and he comes into the changing room, chest out, sunglasses off. He says, "Before you leave this room, look into that mirror and see what's looking back." So something along that lines.
Yeah, no, because he'd written some things on the wall, hadn't he? He'd written like partnerships, bowling pairs, batting pairs. So he'd written something, doesn't matter. And then he went, "Before everyone goes out, I want you to read the mirror." So we're like, all right. And before you go out, after you read the mirror, look through the mirror and look at yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly
it. Josh Newton just exploded. His eyes went massive. But yeah,
it was inspirational.
Shaun, you must have had a few motivational coaches over the years.
Yeah, I don't really remember too many chats though. Probably one I should have listened to a long time ago was "Calm Down."
Yeah. Is that every coach you had?
No, that was more my teammates back in the early captaincy days and that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I suppose the last thing I'm going to end is on what is next for both of you in the cricketing world then? Because obviously Jack back at Huntly now. Shame you couldn't get a season to kickstart the rise again, but what's next?
Yeah, it's a huge disappointment not getting any cricket this year. I think the way I've left Dyce, I think I've left in happy terms, and going to follow everybody's progress over the next years and just be there to support games when I can, and always have Dyce at heart because I've been there from day one. So, but to move on to Huntly, I've taken up a coaching role in the senior side of the club, which has always been a goal of mine. I enjoy coaching and enjoy telling people what to do. But it's it's disappointing not to get any cricket or any competitive cricket this year. After put a lot of hard work in over the winter, seeing the guys improving from day one and getting better each training session. But a lot of big targets for the year, and it'd be nice to get a step back up into Strathmore Premier and push on from there. But well, there's always next year, and I think we'll go back to the winter training and hit hard again. And
I think it's definitely good for North East cricket, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's not nice losing you and Terry from our top order and also our captain, but I think for North East cricket in general to have Huntly back.
Yeah, definitely. It's
also if we can improve the relationship with the club again, because also always felt there was a bit of tension there when all the players were coming, but obviously a good reputation again, and we can, and then
I think having myself and Liam back at Huntly, there'll be good partnership between the clubs. And as you say, for Aberdeen cricket and Aberdeenshire cricket, it's we can show the kind of talent we've got up this way, and it's not just everything central belt. It's plenty of talent up this way if you come looking for it.
Absolutely. And Shaun, what about you? What's next? I saw you were saying you got your eyes on the over 50s World Cup.
Yeah, over 50s World Cup. So the over 50s World Cup was in Cape Town just when I was there in March. Unfortunately, it got cancelled. But there was a few games, so yeah.
And you're still 10 years off, Shaun, unless you're forging yourself a passport.
Oh no, I've still got 10 years, but it's a goal, right? So in between the within that 10-year period, play some more cricket, watching these podcasts, and that actually reminds you, in lockdown, it actually reminds you how much you miss the game when you're not playing it. So we would like to get some of the old boys together again. There was the Legends game last year at Stoneywood. Unfortunately, I missed that, but
because you were having your baby was on the way, wasn't it?
I think did she arrive that day?
It might have been.
Could have. It was around then anyway, but look to organise maybe a Legends tour and things like that as well. You know, weekend away playing cricket, even down in Newcastle, things like that, and play a bit more for Stoneywood again. I enjoyed last year. Unfortunately, injury curtailed it, right? But yeah.
You can still play off the badge, Shaun. I preach it, honestly. Everyone that comes on, I'm like, I don't care what you say about Stuart being the best Coetzer. Watch Shaun Coetzer play off the badge, right? I told David Lamb. David Lamb was like, Stuart was always, no. Watch Shaun Coetzer play.
That's the best V over there on the leg side.
That's what I think Kyle said that in a comment, didn't he? He said you could only play on the leg side.
That's another good tip for you. Never bowl short to Coetzer.
Never bowl short to Coetzer, yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know. My eyesight's getting worse, so.
Anyway, that probably wraps us up. Thanks for coming on, guys. Have a good episode.
No problem.
Jack, all the best for this season, if there is one. I'm sure we'll hopefully get a friendly this year with Huntly. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be in the pipeline, so hopefully we'll get a home and away fixture at least. And
a little series.
A night out in Huntly. Eh?
Maybe, if I can behave myself. And Shaun, hopefully, hope we'll see you up at the club as well this year. As you say, if we can get a few Legends games, maybe a Legends tri-series or something, then you'll be in a selection debacle. Do you get in the current team or the Legends team?
Well, that's if I get selected for the current team, right?
Anyway, that's it. So that's all for this week. Join us next week for the second Coetzer instalment, where Paddy Maroney, a fan favourite, joins Stuart Coetzer. So thanks for watching. Is it off? Oh, it's